You know what I realized? On the internet, no one is ever happy. People always want to keep things down. They always have negative things to say about the internet and TV shows and music and celebrities. It's never positive, always negative. What I'm here to talk about today is the show King of the Nerds, which I like the show. I know a lot of people probably hate me for that. I like the show because it's like the first time we get a show about obviously nerds, like a competition where it's just all about geekdom and fandom and comic books and Star Trek and all that stuff. So like I really like it for that, and I think a lot of people like it for that reason, but a lot of people hate it because they just seem they can't get shit right. God. Like, but I, on the other hand, can look on the positive, unlike the other people on the internet. You see, when the first season came out last year, I thought it was pretty decent. I liked all the contestants, most of them, and I liked the challenges. It's the finale that people have problems with, and I don't blame them. I was pissed. Okay, when Genevieve did not win, I was feeling bad for her. I was being mad for her, okay? She should have won. She was the most round out nerd you could ever have. She was good at everything. She rose to the challenge. She adapted well. She was just an all-around good nerd. The girl who won, Celeste, is what everyone always likes to like put down and stuff because she just skated by. She didn't do anything the whole season. Okay, as character-wise goes, as we were going through the season, I rooted for Celeste. I like Celeste. But when it came down to the very end, like, the whole time I had, like, if Genevieve never got eliminated, I was like, you know what, this girl's probably going to take it all away. And she did. And as we got to the end, I'm just like, you know, Genevieve's probably going to win. Like, this is no contest. But then it comes down to a popularity vote. Are you fucking serious? A vote? In the end, all the other contestants just vote on who they want to win. How do you choose a king of the nerds like that? How do you choose anyone like that in a competition? You don't. So it was just frustrating, okay? But that's what it came down to. And when I thought about character-wise, I was like, Celeste is going to win. You know, because it's popularity, really, that's all it comes down to. I mean, it could come down to who do you think is the best nerd, but in the end, you know, the best nerd or the most well-rounded nerd is in everyone's different definition, okay? There's not one definition about, like, what is a nerd, what's the best nerd, and who gets to rule the nerd world, you know, and I think that's what really gets on my nerves, because I was on the King of the Nerds Facebook page, and I just really wanted to go to read those comments that they put after they show who won after the season 2, and they were hilarious. Some people are just so stupid on the internet, it's like, it's ridiculously funny. Okay, so for season 2, this time around, they redid the finale. And I have to say that season 2 was better than season 1 because they improved and all this stuff that went wrong in the first one. And last year, I gave them credit, okay? It was their first time, alright? First season, mistakes are gonna be made. Their first time going through this. Okay, second time around, I thought the challenges were better, more nerd-based. I thought they were really well put together and done. And the finale was different. I thought it really got to work their minds as they should because they're nerds. And it wasn't a popularity contest, it was like choosing your own people for your own team and getting through this really hard, I don't know what to call it, stations where different puzzles and stuff were. And then in the end, whoever did best, like they scored it, won. So it was between Jack and Caleb. Okay. Personally, I had like a lot of favorites this season. I really liked Jack and I did want him to win. But when Caleb won, I wasn't like mad like everyone else, you know? And the reason was everyone kept saying, everyone commented, Kayla shouldn't have won. I didn't want Kayla to win. She just skated by. She didn't do anything. All she won was a go-kart race. Shut up. People just, they were saying that she wasn't a real nerd. I'm just like, why isn't she a real nerd? Because what is her, she's a scientist or something, and she likes some nerd things. What was it? Star Trek. Okay, she was a big Trekkie fan, but other than that, she didn't like anything else nerd-wise, and people were getting really, like, getting down on her for that, saying that she wasn't a real nerd and she skated by. Okay, there's a difference between skating by and actually being smart. Celeste skated by because she wasn't in any of the nerd-offs, okay? Because no one ever voted her in. There was no ever, like, a big reason to. You didn't see her as, like, a huge threat. You just knew she might be someone you could beat in the end. Kayla, on the other hand, never got into a nerd off because she was smart about it. Even when they thought about putting her in, she used her smarts to get out of it. The whole season, she did stuff to help her team. She was an active player. Where Celeste, and I like Celeste, wasn't as much as an active player. And I feel like people forget that. They just think, oh, Kayla didn't do anything. She doesn't deserve to be a nerd because she doesn't like video games and she doesn't do this and she doesn't do that. Well, you know, I kind of consider myself as a nerd, but is it because I don't watch Star Trek? Because I don't watch Star Trek. Does that mean I'm not a real nerd? But I do like comic books and superheroes, and I like anime, and and the other thing is I hate science and I hate math. I hate them. They wish those subjects would die. But does that mean I'm not a real nerd? Because I'm more like artsy and English, and I'm more on that side. I mean, how can anyone say whether you're a real nerd or not? I mean, I feel like there's a line somewhere, but I mean, either you think of a nerd as someone who's really smart and intelligent, you know, the math and science stuff, and Kayla was that, or you think of him as the fandom stuff, like science fiction, comic books, anime, video games. Oh yeah, I love playing video games too. And so I'm more on that side. But is it because I'm not smart? Does that mean I'm not a nerd? Is it because Kayla didn't like the fandom? Did it not make her a nerd? You know, it's just these people. I'm like, oh my God, stop making a big deal out of everything. Yes, I wanted Jack to win just because personally, I liked him better. I liked his character. I thought he was a fair player and he was adaptable too. He went into Nerd-Offs, and even though he didn't know anything about anything, he worked his butt off. But you know what? In the end, it wouldn't have mattered. Because if Jack would have won, a lot of people would have been complaining about that too. You could argue that he wasn't a real nerd because he didn't even know what Star Wars or Star Trek. He didn't know what the Force was. Like, what? I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but I at least know what that is. And, you know, the other thing was like Xavier. Some people's like, I'd rather him win or Brian. I hope that was his name. And I really liked Xavier once again, character-wise. But in the long run, I had a feeling. I was like, Xavier's not going to make it. Because I just felt like he had video games down and stuff, but everyone was so much stronger on these other levels that he just wasn't going to be able to compete. And yeah, I wished Xavier would have won, but here's the thing, if he really would have won, you could rip on him all day, because he would probably be a worse candidate than Kayla. Because what does he do? Nothing, but his personality's great, and I loved him. And sure, he didn't win. I didn't think he was going to, but just because Kayla won doesn't mean you guys should, I don't know, be upset about it and be mad. There were so many comments about Kayla. It was just too funny. I was laughing as I was reading it. People get hyped about this stuff. And all I'm thinking is, at least it wasn't like a popularity contest. I was just glad that they didn't do that again. They learned their lesson, and I'm glad an actual quote-unquote nerd, won. Like, Kayla won. I wanted Jack to win, but I didn't feel bad that Kayla won, and I'm glad, girl power. Because even if Celeste didn't win, Genevieve would have won. Girl power. Going into the show, I thought the guys were going to win, and they didn't. And it just seems like for every reality show, you need that one annoying person. Last season it was Danielle. And if you want to talk about real nerds, I don't know what she was, okay? She was just annoying as crap. And then this one was Zach, who was even worse. People said he would have made a better king, even though he was annoying as hell. He went into all these nerd-offs and he won and he was better and stuff. But I wouldn't want him to win. I don't care how good he was. I wouldn't consider him as a real nerd. And I'm just keep doing this because this is what everyone wants to argue about. What did Zach do? What did Zach know? He's annoying, he's rude, he has issues. I don't get anything he did in this season. I think he was a strong player, but I'm just glad he didn't win. I don't know if people really wanted him to win or not, but okay, whatever. In conclusion, I just want to say that people really shouldn't try to judge other people on whether if they're a real nerd or not, or real anything, because how can you really judge that? That's why this whole show is just so abstract because it's like King of the Nerds, and everyone, when they get crowned, they're like, everyone hates that they got crowned. They're like, they're not a King of the Nerds. The King of the Nerds should be someone who knows everything. And you know what? Not everyone's gonna know everything. That's what's cool about the show. Each person has their own specialty, and I think Genevieve had her own specialty too. But when it came to other things, she just learned how to adapt because she wanted to win. That's the whole thing. Like, Kayla stayed out of nerd offs. That's smart. That's playing the game right. Why would you want to go into a nerd off? That means you could get eliminated. I mean, yeah, you want to win, but to get thrown into a nerd off, you could possibly lose. If you can stay out of nerd offs, then that's smart. I'd play that way if I was on that show. I'd probably never be on that show because people would be ripping me a new one, so I don't even care. But it's just, you know, everyone gets mad about this, saying, oh, the show sucks, I hate it, I'm not watching it anymore. But it's mostly just because of the finale. Like, most people were fine. Most people were fine about it. Others say they quit after like the 3rd episode, but most people were fine. They liked the show, viewing the comments up until, you know, the finale. And it's like, she won fair and square in the end. You know, I don't know how reality TV really works, if it's all real or not, but if this really is a competition with money involved in all this stuff, you know, in the end, she won fair and square. She did what she did. She did the best, and she just ended up winning. Sure, I would want someone else to win, but it's not like she doesn't deserve it. I saw her as a nerd, and I never thought she was gonna win. I didn't really think much of her in the beginning. I mean, I didn't see her getting to the finale. So yeah, this show does need to fix a lot of things, and I hopefully, if and when there's a 3rd season, they can fix those things, like fixing the finale. I don't think they should skip right to 4 people in the finale and it be done in 1 episode. Like, come on, make it a little longer. And get some more people of color. Why was it like 1 black person, 1 Asian person for the first 2 seasons? Can we broaden our horizons or something? You know, so I think people are just too harsh. I think people judge, and people don't see the good. Like, barely anyone said anything positive about what happened. And I don't know, I'm usually a negative person, but I could look at the positive and the negative. That's just me, but I think everyone needs to relax a little and look at the big picture. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. So that was my rant on King of the Nerds, and if it does premiere next year, it'll probably premiere again, like in January. Hope you guys go to watch it, because I'll probably still be watching it. So that's all I gotta say. Bye!